So we've been on quite a journey over the last 4.5 years, improving what was a fairly run-down cemetery. And quite early on, we identified there's this very amazing chapel called the Colquhoun Chapel.
I joined Brookwood Cemetery as the manager in 2017. The information that was available to me at the time concerning the cemetery was very limited, but we had a book that was written by John Clark. It was actually through this book that we knew where the chapel was, and we started the research to find the location.
And we came over here, but it was nothing like how it is now. It was thick, dense rhododendron, 15, 20 foot high, lots more trees than you can actually see here. So completely impenetrable, and you couldn't see this building. And eventually we were just on the verge of giving up, and we found this building, which was in a fairly poor state. And there were trees collapsed in, the railings had all rotted and fallen away, and the building itself had been blocked up with brickwork. But it was still quite obvious that, this was a beautiful building. So we employed a building conservation surveyor, and then we brought in a specialist conservation company. There's been major repairs to the roof. The finials you can see at top, the new crosses have been carved by stonemasons actually on the site here. The railings, which are wrought iron, have all been restored in wrought iron using a specialist blacksmith. And we have restored all of the plasterwork on the inside and some of the detailing of the angels. And we've cleaned it from top to bottom. We've put pathways in so people can actually gain access. But this building is probably, for me, one of the most beautiful buildings in the cemetery. It has so much detailing on it, and the more you look, the more you can see. It's actually got the name of the architect and the date that it was built, 1858, carved into it. So it's one of the very earliest buildings in the cemetery. And then you've got the name of the builder, W. Bolton from Guildford, actually carved into it as well.
So the crypt held 10 coffins. We had to go through the process of the exhumation because the floor had fallen in, and we had to restore the flooring. We also had to make sure that the crypt was structurally sound. So the coffins were removed one by one, placed into new coffins, zinc-lined coffins, and then placed in storage. The coffins are now placed back in situ with the flooring all restored, as you can see.
In 4.5 years, we have transformed this cemetery from what it was, and that journey will continue. We will be able to restore it to its former glory, and it will be, and always was, one of the premier cemeteries in the country.